Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Everybody in the world thinks that China is very inexpensive. And that used to be true back a number of years ago. When I started coming to China, you could buy, well, we bought our place in Beihai. I think we paid about 1,300 RMB per square meter, which is very inexpensive. You could buy breakfast soup for 1.5 RMB. You could buy tall boy beers for 5 RMB. What does a tall boy beer cost today? Just about 17 and a half years later, 5 RMB. That's the only thing that hasn't gone up in price, and it's impressive. I tell you, the beer gods live here in China. Going back, you could get high-end apartments right in the center of the city for 4,000 RMB. I remember that. Maybe not 17 years ago, maybe about 15, 14 years ago, at 4,000 RMB per meter for a really, really nice shack. Your veggies, your meats and everything used to be like pennies. You go out for any restaurant food and it was like nothing. Times are changing here real quick. Times are changing here real quick, and to buy an apartment on the outskirts of Nanning City, and I'm just talking about Nanning City. You get into places like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, it's way more expensive. The only mega city in China that still isn't super expensive is Chongqing. It's off the beaten path, but I noticed that it was comparable to Nanning City of 7.5 million people, but they got like 30 million people there. Now, people ask me all the time in the comment section, Gweilo, if I have this many dollars in my pension, can I come to China and live comfortably? That depends on how much beer you drink. No, it all depends on where in China. As I say, the mega cities are super duper expensive for properties. Restaurant food's more expensive, everything's more expensive. Now meat is very expensive in China. As compared to Canada, I think it's even more expensive here. So when you're thinking, man, can I afford to live in China? If that question crosses your mind, you might have a problem, depending on what you think is comfortable. Some people are happy living in a village. It costs basically nothing to live in a village. Rent here in Nanning City for a place that's not bad. For a guy and girl, no kids, whatever, 1-bedroom apartment, you can get a pretty nice place for 2 or 2,500 RMB, which is 500 Canadian, 400 American. When you're going out for breakfast, you're looking at 10, 12, 15 RMB, so between $2 and $3 for your breakfast soup now. So when it used to be 1.5 to 2 RMB, that's like a lot more expensive than it used to be. That's for damn sure. When you're going out for supper, it all depends on where you go. There's expensive places and there's cheap places. I know places where I can go for 68 RMB, all you can eat and all you can drink buffets. Yes, sirree. The Yongjiang Hotel, it's a little bit more expensive, 113 RMB now for Brazilian barbecue and all you can drink. So there are those places, but then I know other hot pot places that it's 600-700 RMB for a couple people to go in and do your thing type thing. So I guess it all depends on what your standards are. It's a difficult question. Compared to Canada, China is very inexpensive. Canada is probably about 3 times more expensive. The United States isn't as expensive as Canada, so it's usually about 2 times more expensive than the United States. You can live pretty inexpensive in China if you pick a 2nd or 3rd tier city. If you're a farm boy and want to live on a farm, as I say, it costs virtually nothing to live in rural China. It's one of those places, and it's beautiful. It depends on where you go. You get up north where it's freaking cold half the year. No. You come to Guangxi Autonomous Region in southern China, I'm telling you, this place, well, I've got a hoodie on, a bunny hug for you Saskatchewan boys and girls out there. And it is, 17 degrees Celsius right now? It's just the perfect temperature to keep my beer cool while I drink it. Life is good. If you want a really inexpensive place to live in Southeast Asia, you can look at places like Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, less expensive for sure. If you want culture, if you want to be part of a growing community, if you want to be part of a country with 1.4 billion people that goes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, China is a place for you. If you're somebody with the travel bug, China is a big country, and traveling in China is probably one of the least expensive things that you can do. When you go to a hotel, basic hotels are anywhere from, in my world, you can get some expensive places, but in my world, a couple hundred RMB, so maybe 40 bucks a night, which is, and those are pretty good. You can jump on a bus. It's inexpensive. You want to get around the city, from one end of the city to the other in 7.5 million person city on a subway, 3, 4, 5 RMB, depending on how far you're going. You get on a bus here, 2 RMB. What's 2 RMB, you might ask? It's 40 cents, guys. 40 cents to take a bus anywhere in the city. You get in a taxi. A half an hour from our place out to the Nanning airport cost us 100 RMB, so 20 bucks. A half an hour in a cab on Vancouver Island, that's 12 kilometers from my place to the Cassidy airport on Vancouver Island. It cost me 50 bucks. So way less expensive. Flying around China is one of the least expensive things I've ever seen in my life, and I don't know how the hell they do it, because we can fly from here to Shanghai for like 300 or 400 RMB, guys. It's one of those things. If you have time to pick and choose, and you're not fussy on the time of the day that you leave, it is super inexpensive. So if you're a traveler, China is a place for you. What else? Bread, milk, eggs, stuff. Well, there's really not a lot of milk here. Eggs, I don't know. They sell it by the pound here. It's one of those things. But and bread. This is just, when you look at it in a Western thing, and I get that a lot. What does a liter of milk cost? I don't know. What does a loaf of bread cost? I don't think I've ever seen a loaf of bread in China. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, how much is a pound of rice? How much is, things like that. Where I think a pound of rice is, well, depending on the quality of the rice again. Anywhere from 2 RMB up to 10 RMB for a pound of rice. And I'm sure there's some stuff that's even better, and it gets even more expensive. But it's a loaded question. How expensive is China? China is as expensive as you want it to be. If you want to go to Shanghai and live in a 7-star hotel and spend thousands of dollars a day American, you can do that. If you want to live in a regular place, someplace that I would pick because I'm cheap, you can live literally for next to nothing. If you own your place, like Ronnie the Swede and me, it basically costs nothing. My condo fees, guys, is 600 RMB a year. Okay, so what's that break down to? That's about 120 Canadian dollars, so about $10 a month for condo fees. Yes, it's rough. So my overhead here, my burn rate on cash here is basically nothing. It's one of those things that I live in my community. I know the restaurants. I know where to go buy my beer. I know, I just know the whole area, and I know where the expensive places are and where the cheap places are. Do we hit expensive places? Definitely. Tonight at 6:30, we're taking a couple of families out for supper at Grandma's restaurant. Is it expensive? Well, it's about middle of the road. But you know what we'll do is we'll all get together, we'll eat, we'll drink, and do whatever the hell we want. You know, at the end of the day, it'll probably cost us about 50 bucks Canadian or 50 bucks American, and it's really a non-issue for us. If you want to live a very inexpensive life in China, it can be done. If you want to live for 1,000 American dollars a month, you can. If you want to live for 700 American dollars, nah, I wouldn't try that. You know what I mean? It's there is a limit to how cheap you can be, and at 1,000, which is what, about 6,500 RMB, it's doable. You're not going to get any frills out of that, but it's doable. What Wei Fong and I spend every month is about 10 to 12,000 RMB. So, as Canadian dollars, it's just over 2,000 Canadian dollars a month. And we eat and we drink and we go wherever we want. We travel. We don't worry about anything as far as cash goes at $2,000 a month. So I hope that gives you an idea of how inexpensive or expensive China is. And that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. And whatever you do, don't forget to put a couple bucks in the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. Poor rural Chinese children, they just need a helping hand, and we can help them. Help me help them. Thanks for watching. Bye now.